Should the Philippines stop competing in Miss Grand International?
Why?
And by the way, I look up to you, Rafa and Peter. Thank you. Yeah, should the Philippines stop competing? I want to hear your opinion because I know
Absolutely
you have a
not.
very strong opinion about Philippines, Peter.
I do. I do have a very strong opinion about the
And and while
Philippines.
you were speaking, let me take a sip from a glass of wine. You know, this is not wine. This is apple juice, people. It's too early for me to drink alcohol.
It's apple juice spiked with
Cheers.
vodka. Um, Absolutely not. I think the Philippines should continue to compete at Miss Grand. And, where there's a pageant, there's a Filipino. So I think we need to kind of maintain and keep that.
Mhm.
The Philippines will win will win Miss Grand. At some point they will win Miss Grand. You just have to be patient. You just have to be patient. I don't think boycotting something because you didn't win for a few years is the answer to anything. I think you've just got to try harder. You've got to be smarter. You've got to find out what makes Nawat tick.
Mhm.
You've got to figure out a way as to win his favor, because that's really what it is.
Right.
Give him the market that he wants, and you'll get the crown. So, um, be smart. Be smart. Don't boycott.
Exactly. But you know what? Well, it's his pageant, so he can do whatever he wants.
Hmm.
That includes bending his own rules.
Hmm.
As you know, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Nawat has a specific type of beauty that he prefers. It's almost the same type of beauty that Osmel Souza has. Like tall, thin,
Hmm.
curvy, but not fat. She has to have big hair,
Hmm.
beautiful face, and a great catwalk, etc. And
Hmm.
and I was thinking, well, Miss Grand Philippines, Samantha Panlinio, was lacked two of these qualities. I mean, her height
Hmm.
was a big impediment.
Hmm.
And a lot of Filipinos too would agree that she was sent to the wrong pageant, you know. And but then you wonder, well, I thought height does not matter anymore. As
Hmm.
long as the girl is able to project herself, she's able to it's all about the attitude. Because I remember
Hmm.
in Miss Universe back in 2010, 2011, Miss L was it Miss Guatemala. She was one of the shortest girls. She was like less than 5 feet 5, but she
Hmm.
made the cut. She made the top
Correct.
10. So it's really not height. But then again, it really depends on a combination of what the judges are looking for, what Nawat is looking for, and
Yeah.
what he thinks is best for his brand. So it's all about
Correct.
yes.
Correct. It's kind of like, if you're going to send a girl to Grand, it's like sending a girl to World. You've got to know how Julia thinks. You've got to know how Nawat thinks. It's not just about the pageant. It's really endearing yourself to the owner of the pageant. So I think it's super important for whoever is handling the Miss Grand franchise in the Philippines to really get into Nawat's frame of mind, Nawat's skin, really
Mhm.
networking with him and having a closer relationship with Nawat. And kind of getting it, in that way.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe Nawat will be more accepting and more tolerant of other types of beauty next
Mm.
time. But I really wish, though, that he would be less sensitive because he's a very sensitive person. He gets very emotional easily. And I don't think that from a professional point of view, it's not good. It's not always healthy to show bursts of emotion, be it doing a live feed on Facebook or YouTube or whatever. It's just not good. And when I compare him, let's say, with Donald Trump, who used to own Miss Universe. I mean, Donald Trump could be very temperamental, but he was able to, but he never
Step
really,
back.
yeah,
He
exactly. He
actually
stepped
stepped
back.
back. Yep. Do you know what? This is
So
what makes Grand so special. That the owner, it's, himself, is the attraction.
he's a drama queen.
Absolutely. This is one of the reasons why we watch Grand. Let's see what Nawat's going to come up with next. So he is as much the star of the show as the queens are. And this is what we love about the pageant. And it's what sets him apart from the other directors, from all the other owners. So I actually am very appreciative of it, and I would celebrate that, because
You met
he
him in
keeps
person. You
us.
met him in person, right?
I've met him
Yeah.
in person. He
Have you
was
spoken
very
to him at all?
sweet.
He was very sweet. Yeah.
I found Nawat very sweet,
Okay.
and in saying that, it's and this comes as no surprise. When you meet Nawat, it's never about you; it's always about Nawat. So you go and meet Nawat, and I'm like, "Did you like my show?" It's like, "Yes, we did, Mr. Nawat. We loved your show."
Yes.
So it's always about Nawat,
Right.
and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think once you kind of get to know that, and you're a director and a franchise holder for Grand, and you celebrate Nawat, you're halfway there.
Mhm. Yeah, I did meet him in person during the Las Vegas pageant back in 2016, and I thought at first my first impression of him was that he was kind of he looked very strict, like a very strict father almost.
Right.
But then again, he started, warming up to the vloggers, to the reporters, to the fans and
Mm.
whatnot. And I was able to take a picture of him and I together on the red carpet. So I thought that was I was, and I don't know what happened to that picture. I was looking at my archives and I couldn't find that picture. I know maybe I deleted it by accident,
Mm.
but yeah, there was a picture of us together. And yeah, he was just like. I think that's one thing that I would love to see him less of, his emotional, his
Mm.
sentimental, his
Yeah.
very sensitive side.
Yeah, I think in terms of the strictness to Rafa, you've got to also remember that when he was in Vegas, that was the same year that the king died
Hmm.
in Thailand. So I think they had to be very careful with the way that they presented themselves at that time as well.
Hmm. Exactly.